Welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that catapults a British family right across the other side of the world to help them make the biggest decision of their life. John Mills loves the idea of starting a new life down under and would be fulfilling a lifelong dream to go there.
I honestly believe that I should be in Australia, and this is a place that I've always meant to be as well.
His wife Mandy is reluctant to swap the certainties of her life in the UK for an unknown future in Australia, but she's willing to put it to the test.
To come out here is a really big deal because it could change the rest of our lives.
Could this be John's only chance to convince Mandy that life in Oz would be better?
If Mandy did say no, that's it, definitely not.
I will be devastated, but it's got to be a joint decision.
Or will her close ties with home mean he has to bury his dreams for the sake of their family?
And I would need a lot of convincing to want to make a whole new life here for me to give it a go, I think.
So will the Mills end up where they're wanted down under? For many, Australia seems to promise a fantastic lifestyle. And anyone who's under 45 with a skill that's in demand could head for a future life down under. Last year, over 60 Brits a day jumped at the chance. But how do you go about making such a tough decision? We've given 20 more families the chance of a lifetime to swap the UK for a future in the sun. But after just 1 week, which way will they vote? Stay in the UK or move to Australia? John and Mandy Mills live in the industrial town of Barrow-in-Furness with their 3 children. 8-year-old Lily, Grace who's 6 and 15-month-old Seth. For years, John's big dream has been to live in Australia, and he was set to move there until he met Mandy and they started a family.
Certainly since I was 19, it's always been a passion of mine to go there and settle down. It sounds like a fantastic place to live.
Mandy's never even left the UK, so the idea of emigrating to the other side of the world is a massive undertaking for her.
I've lived in Barrow for 27 years, my whole life. Never really ventured anywhere else. You get small town mentality, I think.
But she's determined to make a better life for their children.
I think with Barrow, when they've left school, they can go and work in the shipyard, or there's the hospital, and then it's more or less supermarkets. And I'd quite like to widen that field and give them more opportunity.
Although Lily and Grace seem more concerned about encountering the Aussie wildlife.
We know that there's koala bears. We know that there's maybe snakes, spiders, box jellyfish.
John works in the shipbuilding industry as a quality control engineer. But Mandy's worried that a move to Oz would mean a step backwards for him.
I think with what John does, he'd have to start at the bottom, so I do actually think that he wouldn't have as much money.
I've already come up through the ranks from an electrician up to an inspector, and I can't imagine there being anything stopping him making the step again over there.
Mandy is a stay-at-home mum and has a lot of support from her family, who she's extremely close to.
It's nice having my parents living over the road and my friend living just round the corner. It will be hard for them to adjust, but it's a case of it's sort of my time now with my family, and I can't stick around in the same place forever just in case I upset people, I suppose.
John and Mandy haven't experienced anything like this before, and they're keen to see what Australia has to offer.
35 years that I've lived here, so time for a change. It's time to see the rest of the world.
It's just something different than living in Barrow for the rest of our lives. I don't want to sit on my sofa in Barrow in 20 years' time and think, why didn't we try something else?
Barrow isn't the be-all and end-all. It's a lovely place, but there are other places out there that we can live.
I don't want to ever regret not trying it.
But Mandy's far from convinced, and it could still end in tears for John.
We've got to make it as a family decision, and yes, I will try to put pressure on Mandy slightly to go, but there's no point in us making that huge financial commitment to go if we're going to turn around and say, no, I don't like it, I need to go back.
But we both have to decide on that. I'm not going to be bullied into shifting my whole family over the other side of the world for John's dream.
Yeah, you are.
To help the Mills make the right decision, we offered them the ultimate challenge, a trip to Adelaide in South Australia. We have 3 different lifestyles for the family to sample. One in the country, one in the city, and one on the coast. Each with an offer of a job and a brand new way of life for them to enjoy on their budget. First, let's take a look at the country lifestyle. With Bel Air National Park on your doorstep, the Adelaide countryside is great for nature watching. And if wine tasting whets your palate, you're just going to love it up in the Adelaide Hills. Country properties are cheaper than in the city. 4-bedroom homes like these will cost up to £220,000. A job at this ship construction company will earn you around £25,000 a year. Manager Marianne Glamasak tells us more.
This is a family-owned business. My father started this in 1982. Our normal working day starts at 7:30 and finishes at 4. Gives you plenty of time to see the rest of Adelaide. Next time you're in Adelaide, John, why don't you come and visit us?
So that's the kind of lifestyle they can enjoy in the country. Let's see what's possible in the city on their budget. With its festivals, museums and galleries, Adelaide is a city of diverse culture with plenty of entertainment too in the buzzing West End. In the city suburbs, 3-bedroom homes can be found for around £230,000. A range of shopping experiences is close by, from the central malls and markets to hip local high streets. Over in Port Adelaide, there's a salary of at least £28,000 on offer at a submarine construction company. Here's Quality Control Manager David West to tell us more.
I bet you're dying to see what goes on here, so let me show you around. Here we are in the control room of a Collins-class submarine. Working on this complex platform is a big undertaking, and we're looking for somebody who's up to the challenge. Come to wonderful Adelaide and work on these awesome stealthy machines.
It looks like their life could shape up pretty well in the city, but what about a new life on the coast? The stunning unspoilt beaches of Adelaide will literally take your breath away. To lap up coastal living to the max, a family home within walking distance to the beach will set you back around £220,000. A job at a local pleasure boat manufacturer will earn you a salary of up to £25,000. Jason Sims is the general manager.
This is just a small part of our team here at Port River Marine. They're all very proud of what they do, including building a vessel which took out the 2008 Boat of the Year awards earlier this year. Here's the vessel here. We might be a little bit smaller scale than what you're used to, but if you do like what you see, feel free to come and pay us a visit.
So there were 3 lifestyles on offer. The country option where the wages are lower but so are the property prices. The city option where the salary is higher but the property is also higher. Or the coast option where John wouldn't be earning as much but the lifestyle would be right up his street. So 3 very different possibilities for our family to try. So which one did we decide would suit them best? We chose the city option for the Mills Week in Australia. There's still a great deal for them to think about. John's desperate for the family to up sticks and head out to a new life down under. But in the week ahead, the only thing standing between him and his ambition to move permanently is Mandy. And after a gruelling 22-hour flight, it's not off to a great start.
These were all right. He wouldn't sleep while everyone else was trying to sleep, so it was a nightmare.
We're filthy, we haven't washed for days.
The Mills are staying in a house in the suburb of Dulwich, right near the city, and a great location for exploring what Adelaide has to offer. This traditional one-storey house has old-world charm by the bucket load.
Very nice.
It's got 3 double bedrooms.
Ooh, who'll be having this bedroom?
Massive, well, I know.
A large dining room and 2 living rooms.
This is pretty.
There's even a jacuzzi in the bathroom.
A bath? Yeah.
Oh, is it a swimming pool?
Fantastic.
It's bigger than I thought it was going to be.
It's all on one level as well.
Yeah. I know, it's
Yeah,
weird.
it's a bit weird. I'm not having stairs.
We'll miss stairs.
And to top it all, a decent-sized garden for the kids to run around in.
Smell.
Oh,
2 of them.
So how does Australia live up to John's expectations so far?
Yeah, can't stop smiling, really. You know, it's good to be here.
For Mandy, though, the enormity of what they're considering is beginning to hit home.
To come out here is a really big deal. One, because it could change the rest of our lives. So, you know, to make that journey was massive, especially with never been out of Barrow before. So to make that huge journey was huge, but it is to do with the rest of our lives. So it was a journey that needed to be made. So.
And John's aware that the week ahead holds a big challenge.
I'll try and do some persuading and stop the heartstrings being tugged from home.
Never. Never.
There's a lot to think about, but one thing that might persuade Mandy is the property. And tomorrow they'll find out whether the houses here are enough to prize her away from her home in Barrow. Back in the northern shipbuilding town of Barrow-in-Furness, the Mills family live in a 3-bedroom terraced house worth about £100,000. They've set themselves a budget of about £170,000, including a mortgage. That's around 350,000 Australian dollars, which may prove unrealistic for what they want. We're showing the Mills 3 properties, all slightly over their initial budget, and to afford any of them, they would need a mortgage. The first house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom property close to the city centre. It also has the all-important swimming pool, but at $490,000 or approximately £240,000, they'd really have to stretch themselves.
It's nice smells, eh? Oh, yes. Ooh. That's big enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely.
There's some cotton done on there.
Oh, this is pretty, isn't it?
That's nice.
Got wardrobes, fitted wardrobes.
Plenty of storage, isn't there?
Very nice. I do like this bathroom.
What a room.
Yeah.
Somewhere for me to relax, love, after a hard day's work.
Yeah, but you can make it into a family room, couldn't you? You
No,
could have a sofa.
it's a pool table room.
Yeah, you could have it as a dining room as well, couldn't you?
No, you can have it as a pool table room.
Apart from arguing about the use of the room, John and Mandy seem to be really impressed by this house. But is that the same for young Seth too?
Like it?
Yes.
Yes. Can you give it the thumbs up?
Yes.
Yes. Come on then.
Oh, that's lucky then. Now, how about the outside space?
Oh, nice big
Oh wow,
outside
somewhere
patio
to
area.
entertain.
Lovely.
It's freezing. Oh, and there's a little area here, John, to sit on.
Yeah, a bit of sunbathe. Topless.
Oh, please, John, this is a family show. John already feels at home, but is the feeling mutual?
I like the privacy and the pool, obviously. Kids really wanted a pool. Nothing like what we've got at home. So no, I like it. I do.
It's the quintessential Australian house, isn't it, that you think of when you think of Australia. Pools, party area, big rooms.
The house appears to be ideal for them, but is at the very top of their budget.
I think it's worth it. It's just whether we can stretch that far.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to think we could. You know, if we have to save up in England for a bit longer.
But it is only 3-bedroom, which means the kids would be sharing.
It's got a pool. Did I mention the pool?
But not if you're bankrupt.
You can always go swimming. You don't have to go out. I think it's brilliant. Certainly if we can stretch to 490 then.
490, that's
250,000 UK. It's a big stretch, but
It is a big stretch.
you know,
There's a trouble with them sharing the bedroom, aren't there?
it's an issue.
Yeah,
It's
it is an issue. It's a very big issue.
Although John and Mandy like this house, they would need a huge mortgage, and it seems such a shame to come all the way to Australia and still have your children sharing a bedroom. So with this in mind, the second house they're going to view hopefully has everything. It has 4 bedrooms and a pool, but vitally, with an asking price of $420,000 or £205,000, it's much closer to their original budget.
Nice, isn't it?
This is nice. Ooh, this is nice.
It's nice, isn't it? That's the table and chairs.
Open plan. Yeah.
So another living area.
This is
this is nice. This is nice.
We don't have to have it as a dining room. We could have it as a playroom.
Pool room.
Playroom, computer room, study.
Nice try, John, but very quickly they discover that sometimes having so many bedrooms can mean just one thing.
Quite cosy though, isn't it?
That's freshener. It's nice.
Really small baths. Really small people.
Can you try and find your room, Grace?
Yeah.
It's smaller than, than the others, but...
I don't know. It's small, boxy. Once you've got wardrobes, drawers and a bed in here, you'll find that there won't be a lot of room.
No.
But John, as ever, is the eternal optimist, and he doesn't give up without a fight.
A single bed would take at the end of the window, and you've got storage over there.
Yeah,
there's plenty of room on this side.
I think you'd find that it'd be crowded, really crowded. Where would you put a bed in this room? Because you couldn't put a bed coming
across
from...
the ways.
I think it's small. I think it's a lot small.
The house, with all its problems, does offer a few benefits.
Got a nice view, haven't they?
It is a nice view, that. It's trying to come to that every day.
Something to look at, isn't it? Well, this is a nice area. Yeah.
Beautiful view again.
Yeah.
It's nice and
It's the
quiet
same
as well.
view for inside.
It might be, yeah.
Just that you're outside. Oh, and there's a pool.
Look at that, Lily. Nice pool. A little bar area, a little seating area. Plenty of drinks around the side. It's lovely.
Okay. Jacuzzi, innit?
But has it won Mandy over?
We're coming from little porky rooms to a house with little porky rooms. And
The rest of the house is quite nice, and I think the rooms
it's quite nice.
They're a decent size.
It's a nice living area, but I don't know, it just hasn't got a feel for it. No, I'm not a great lover, but there you go. Just being a horrible person.
If you don't like it,
Yeah.
you don't like it.
No, I don't. Sorry, I just don't. It's just a bit. Yeah.
Look at the pool.
Yeah.
Look at the pool.
Pool's not enough.
The bar. We've got a bar.
You're not going to live in the pool.
We've got a bar. We've got a bar.
No, it's just not what I was after.
No?
No.
Well, we tried, but it seems for the Mills that size does matter, and in order to afford a larger 4-bedroom property, they'd have to make some compromises. For this reason, our next house, set in the more rural area of Coromandel Valley, doesn't have a pool, but does have 4 good-sized bedrooms. And at $440,000, that's just over £215,000, it's still above their budget.
Very leafy. Come on. Oh, it's massive. Look at that. Eh? Oh, look at this, Grace.
That's nice,
That's
isn't it?
lovely.
Oh, carpet. Nice plush
That's
carpet.
lovely.
I like the different levels.
Oh, there's the mother-in-law.
Oh,
I like it.
nice.
I like it a lot.
Oh, I like this.
It's massive. It's nice. It's not like too big, is it? It's just like
Oh no, I like
homely.
it.
It's lovely.
Oh, it is. I like it.
Oh, Mills, you can see myself here.
I wouldn't know what to do with a big kitchen. I'd have to cook.
It's nice and cosy.
And it's got loads of storage as
Plenty
well.
of storage for you. Oh, Lily, this is nice. I think you might have picked your room too early. This is your room, Grace. Like it? It's big, isn't it? It's
You get a
lovely.
double bed in it. In fact, Grace might not have this room. We could have this
We might
room.
have this room.
Hold your horses, you haven't seen the master bedroom yet.
This is more
That's
like it.
Very nice.
That's
That's
lovely.
lovely. Plenty of room. Ensuite bathroom.
Yeah, with a shower.
With a shower.
Yeah,
Oh, lovely.
very nice.
Yeah. Let's look at this. Outside area. That's beautiful.
Wouldn't go that far, John.
There's no swimming pool.
And the
But
view.
no, this is a nice little grassed area.
Just enough space. Not too much grass. Oh, this is beautiful, Grace. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you really like it?
Love it.
Even the lack of pool hasn't put them off, but there's always a drawback.
The only concern I've got is
Bit
it's quite far out and it's isolating.
You'd have to drive, wouldn't you? You'd have to drive most places.
Yeah.
which would be a problem as Mandy hasn't passed her test yet.
For me, that's the only downside of the whole house, because it is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I like it. I like this house a lot, actually. Could see myself living in this house. It's still
a lot of money, but you do get a lot for your money.
No, I do like this one better. Got to say, I do like this one better.
We've shown the Mills 3 properties, all of which would be a stretch financially. House number 1 was tastefully decorated, but came with only 3 bedrooms and was on the market for £240,000. Property 2 had 4 bedrooms, all a tad on the small size, but was cheaper at £205,000. They loved the third house, but would the £215,000 price tag be worth it if they'd feel isolated living there? So how will they vote on property, UK or Australia?
So we've looked at lots of properties today. They've all been in beautiful areas and they don't really compare to the houses back at home. So there is really only one choice. Australia!
Well, 4 out of 5 isn't bad. Even Mandy preferred the houses in Australia compared to back home. But to make a move, John would have to guarantee a secure job which paid enough to fund a new lifestyle. Back home in his current job, John started off as an apprentice marine electrician and has spent the last few years working his way up to a more senior role. He earns a salary of just over £30,000. He's concerned that in Australia this may all change.
One of the big sacrifices is not getting a position that I'm used to doing at the moment. It's starting again at the bottom of the ladder and working my way up. There will be a financial sacrifice, so I may be spending longer hours at work in the first couple of years.
Day 2 and he's off to road test a job with a company who build and maintain ships and submarines for the Australian Navy. And has come to meet Quality Control Manager David West.
Hi John, how are you?
Hi David, you all right?
Yeah, very good.
Who offers him a tour around the site. While John explores his job prospects, Mandy and the kids have a look around to see if Adelaide has enough to offer them.
It was John's dream to come to Australia. He's always wanted to move to Australia, always wanted to start a life in Australia, even before he met me. So opportunity came along and here we are.
It might be John's dream, but the decision to move would be a joint one. Is Mandy really prepared to give up her life in the UK?
If John came back from work and said, this is it, I really want to do this, I love it, it's great, it's fantastic, let's do it, we'd have to do a lot of talking. I couldn't just move here just because John enjoyed the work, which sounds selfish, possibly, on my part. But yeah, I'd need a little bit more than just John enjoying his work, to be honest, because there's more of us in the family than just John.
Okay, well my department here...
Back at work, John's finding out about the differences between his job in the UK and here in Australia.
Yeah, can do.
Here's the control room. As you can see, it's pretty much right in the middle of the maintenance activity, so there's a fair bit of equipment removed, periscopes, consoles are all out getting maintained.
How do you see the transition being from the UK to Australia?
Okay, well my understanding of how things are done in the UK is that it's a very similar approach to how it's done here in Australia. The way we build the submarines is similar, as well as the way we maintain them. Yeah, I think you'll fit in quite well, and I think the transition will be very easy for you.
That's good news.
Okay.
But his biggest concern is whether he'd have to start at a lower level, which would mean a drop in salary. If John could get a role comparable to his in the UK, it could be all systems go.
In my department, there's going to be a number of avenues that you could explore.
Yep.
So there's plenty of work there and plenty of security going forward.
Excellent. That's one of the things I was worried about the most. So.
Okay, good.
That's a relief. David's arranged for John to meet up with an ex-colleague from a shipyard in Barrow. Can he reassure John that moving his family to the other side of the world would be a safe bet?
Hey mate, you all right?
How are you doing?
All right mate, eh?
You all right?
Yeah. Good to see you.
I hope they've been looking after you.
Yeah, they have been, yeah. You've been here for 4 years, so obviously you've settled in now.
You'll find that you'll meet an awful lot of people through the school with the kids. Once the kids settle into school and they start doing sport activities and stuff like that. I mean, it's a big move, it's a big decision. It's life-changing, moving from Barrow, where it's freezing cold and dark when you go to work and dark when you come home. It's nothing like in the UK. I mean, generally you spend most of your time around people's houses, having barbecues in the backyards, and you know you'll They'll go to the beach with the kids, or you'll go for a picnic, or just watch the sunset or something like that.
There's plenty of time to do that as well.
Oh yeah. This is a huge change for you, mate.
All right, mate.
All right.
We'll have to get going anyway, so...
Yeah, okay.
See you later.
Catch up.
Yeah.
Mandy, on the other hand, is not so sure. With no ready-made social life, it would be a huge change from what she's used to at home.
Family's really important to me, I think, to have that little group of people you really trust and know, and just somebody to fall back on and be there for you when you're really low and need somebody. And I think that it could be quite isolating here for me. The children obviously make friends at school, John will make friends at work, I'll be left with, well, me. And I would need a lot of convincing to want to make a whole new life here. A lot of convincing on John's part for me to give it a go, I think.
So John has a big task ahead of him, but having spent a positive day at work, things are looking good.
The main concern was coming in at a lower level than what I'm used to working in the UK. Over here, David certainly gave the impression that the work was very similar. They do have a similar level that I'm doing, and now it's just a matter of learning systems, processes and standards, so I've got no worries anymore.
And how would he fit in?
Oh, look, that won't be a problem at all. We've got a number of lads over here from the UK, and so we're used to the UK guys and they're used to us. They get used to us pretty quickly, so yeah, there'd be no problem there. The transition would be short and easy, and yeah, so I reckon he'd fit in just fine.
That all sounds great, and with the salary similar to what he earns in the UK, how will John vote?
So people in ASC seem really friendly. Building submarines, it's very similar to what I'm doing at home. Basically, there's only one choice. Australia.
While the rest of the world begins to slow down, the Australian economy remains pretty strong, and the skills shortage is still very much in evidence. But what's driving it? The Australian mining companies are digging for copper, uranium, iron ore and zinc.
There is massive demand for Australian minerals by the world, particularly by China, so the opportunities available in Australia are enormous.
And it's not just miners that stand to benefit from the boom.
In the cities of Australia, there is, of course, big growth in the support industries for mining. What we're saying to people is that now we are really recruiting around the world to get IT people, engineers, mechanics, chefs, police officers, nurses to provide the support for this mining expansion. So what we're seeing is the lowest unemployment ever, highest number of people in job.
Crikey, with unemployment at around 4%, maybe we should all move over there.
Australia is very much a migrant nation. We're the most migrant nation in the world, and people have come here to be part of Australia's development. So if people have got get up and go, come to Australia and be part of something really exciting, but also having a great lifestyle for themselves and their kids.
John and Mandy Mills are divided in their views about a move down under. John is adamant that Australia could offer them a brilliant new life.
Certainly since I was 19, it's always been a passion of mine to go there and settle down.
But Mandy's not sure she's ready to move away from the friends and family she's so close to in the UK.
It's nice having my parents living over the road and my friend living just round the corner, and it'll really upset me. It'd be heart-wrenching to leave.
John's challenge has been to win Mandy over to his way of thinking, but it hasn't been easy.
This is
Seth's room.
Different. Coming from little porky rooms to a house with little porky rooms.
The rest of the house is quite nice, and if you don't like it,
yeah,
you don't like it.
No, I don't. Sorry, I just don't.
And striking the right balance is a definite struggle.
I don't want to push her, because if I push her and she doesn't like it, it's just going to turn so nasty, and that's one thing that I want to avoid.
Will hearing messages from friends and family back home make the decision to move even harder?
That was horrible, wasn't it?
Australia, the land of sun and surf. Well, not today it isn't. Unfortunately for John, Adelaide, situated in the driest state in the driest inhabited country on Earth, is suffering one of its coldest and wettest Augusts on record, and convincing Mandy to move on a day like today may be a tall order. So maybe John can work on the kids. They're off to Gamaraka Toy Factory, home to the world's biggest rocking horse, where maybe they can escape the worst of the weather.
You want up the stairs, Grace?
It's like being in England.
Yeah, it's just a bit cold and damp at the moment, so...
Yeah, we really weren't expecting it to be like this, but we're all right. The rain might hold off, it might stop, you never know.
Yeah, it is a bit of a reality check that it's not all roses and sunny over here. And, you know, Adelaide's meant to be one of the driest states, and today's just proved it wrong.
Do I detect a bit of doubt creeping in there, John?
Come on then, should we go up the horse? Yeah?
Eventually the skies do brighten, and so does John's outlook.
All the way. Ma'am, go on. I never thought I'd see kangaroos, you know, as soft and as gentle as this. I always assumed that they were, you know, fairly wild animals that run wild all the time. And just to see them like this is really nice. And for the girls to feed them, I mean, I think it's a dream come true. I don't think they realise it yet, but it's a dream come true for them. You know, feeding kangaroos in Australia just doesn't get any cooler, does it?
I think John loves it. I think John really, really enjoys anything to do with Australia. I think you could have took him anywhere and he'd have loved it because he really wants to live here, and I don't think that anything will put him off, to be honest.
I like the lifestyle, you know, certainly all the people that I spoke to have always pushed the lifestyle.
So no guessing how John feels, but are they starting to be of the same opinion?
I'm thinking that she's liking it a lot more. I think she's softening to the moving to Australia thing now. Well, I'd like to think that anyway.
Everything I know, everything's familiar, is back in England. It's just a case of struggling with my head and my heart, I think, more than anything.
I'm not trying to push her in any way, but obviously I'm still trying my best to subtly say, Mandy, this is nice, you know, we can do this.
I'm missing my mum and dad a lot. If I came back to England and said that I wanted to make a life in Australia, they'd be devastated. So that's another thing that chokes me up a little bit, so, yeah. Family's really important to me.
Hello.
Just try to keep everybody happy, but also the best interests of us and our little family, so it's just for John. John wanted to change, John wanted a new start, so I said we'd go and give it a go, and I'd give it my best shot, and that's all I can do. At the end of the day, all I can do is give it my best shot.
John is understanding when it comes to Mandy's point of view.
It's got to be a joint decision, and otherwise it's on the other side of the world, and to be stuck somewhere where you've got no friends and you don't even want to be, it's just too much. It's got to be her decision to want to come. The main goal is to keep the family together and happy, and if it means that I don't get to fulfil my dream, then I'm going to have to live with it.
The day at the toy factory has given the mill some quality outdoor life that they say they want more of, but also a lot to think about. So how will they vote on lifestyle?
The weather's been quite comparable to the UK with sun and showers, and we've enjoyed feeding the kangaroos and the other animals. So our vote today is going to be...
UK!
Australia!
As their week in Adelaide comes to an end, has Mandy been won over by what Australia has to offer?
I've actually found Australia to be not actually what I was expecting. I think it was slightly better than what I was expecting. To be honest, I think I was quite naive in thinking that Australia would be England but warmer. But it's really not at all. It's nothing like England. It feels a bit friendlier than a city. You get at home, more people chat to you and talk to you.
At the end of the day, I know she's been here, I know she's had the taste, and I think it's just a matter of time now. Or I'd like to think it was a matter of time before she decided, yeah, it's the place I want to be.
As regards to a future life in Australia, my heart is saying go home because everything you know knows there, it's comfortable there, friends and family are there. My head is saying stay in Australia because it's a new opportunity, new life, new beginning, but my heart's slightly ruling at the moment, I'm afraid. But yeah, there's definitely a pull for both, but I think that my heartstrings are getting pulled a little bit more than my head, to be honest.
If Mandy did say no, that's it, definitely not. I would be sort of devastated.
Despite Mandy's doubts, John remains convinced that Australia could offer the best possible future for the family. But will he be quite so sure when he hears from loved ones back home?
Hello, John and Mandy, Lily, Grace and Seth.
If you do stay in Australia, we want you to take the best shot at it, make the best shot at it you possibly can.
I hope everything goes fine for you. I miss you very much.
John's absolutely brilliant. I'm so proud of him. He didn't have the best start in life and I just think it's absolutely wonderful.
He's a smashing lad. He gets on with people, he's very studious and he's a good craftsman.
Oh, Mandy's smashing. She's absolutely brilliant. She's a very good girl. I'll be totally lost if she decides to go.
Well, both our mums were dinner ladies and worked together, and we used to go to Mandy's house for lunch, and sometimes we used to jig school because our mums were at work and we used to stay at Mandy's house.
On the Christmas day or over the Christmas period, they look after me very well. They even give me a taxi to go home if I've got too much.
Lily, Gracie and Seth, like all grandparents, I think they're the best thing since sliced bread. It would be quite a thing for them not to be there. I would break my heart, to be honest.
I think when they go away, they're going to get homesick, and that's going to be the crucial point for them.
I understand Mandy's reluctance and hesitation about leaving Barrow. It's a big step for her. It's a big step for them all. If you don't take a step, you're never going to find out what's further along the path for you.
I mean, John will be at work and the kids will adapt fine. I think it'll be a great life for them, but I worry if Mandy, with being at home with the kids, I worry if she gets isolated.
If they're not there, it's like it would be like a bereavement that I can't just, I'll just go and see if the girls want, or it was just such a dramatic change.
Also, I'll miss them when the kids are in a school play and they come and ask me to go, so I'll miss them there too.
My family is my family. That's what I do, that's what I'm about, it's my family. To be without them, don't even dare thinking about it.
Mandy, I'm really going to miss you if you go and live in Australia, but enough of my selfish needs and wants. If you decide to stay in Australia, I'm 100% behind you.
Well, it's me again. I hope you've seen plenty of sights in Australia. I've missed you, and I hope to see you soon.
Life, for me, will be entirely different, but if that's what it takes for you to be happy, that's what matters. You can't say anything else.
And that was horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah. Your mum was obviously devastated just at the thought of us not being in close proximity to her.
Yeah. Because when my mum's chicks fell out the nest, they only fell slightly out the nest. They didn't fly the nest quite.
How selfish is your mum?
Horrible, isn't she? Oh, horrible woman. I'll be devastated, but you'll be happy. I feel guilty. I feel really awful for putting them through that, I suppose.
I didn't expect anything less than to be a lot of tears and a lot of upset at this point.
Grace, it's all right.
It's all right, Grace. If we weren't crying, I'd think there was something wrong. It's natural to miss them,
Nice.
but I still believe that
being in Australia is the right thing for us.
It's been a challenging week for the Mills family, who are thinking of starting a new life many thousands of miles away from their home in Cumbria.
When they've left school, they can go and work in the shipyard, or there's the hospital, and I'd quite like to widen that field and give them more opportunity.
The trips fulfilled John's hopes that Oz could provide them with a better life.
I don't think they realise it yet, but it's a dream come true for him. Feeding kangaroos in Australia doesn't get any cooler, does it?
But he hasn't had the best of luck. Even the normally reliable Aussie weather has been against him.
It is a bit of a reality check that it's not all roses and, sunny over here.
After a lot of searching, they found a property Mandy felt she could call home.
Oh,
I like it a lot.
Oh, I like this. I could see myself living in this house.
But with her heartstrings being tugged from the other side of the world, persuading Mandy to move was always going to be tricky.
I'm missing my mum and dad a lot. If I came back to England and said that I wanted to make a life in Australia, they'd be devastated.
The Mills are now in a difficult situation. Can John accept his life in the UK isn't that bad? Or will Mandy acknowledge the possibility of a future beyond home? It's crunch time. How will they vote overall? To move to Australia or to stay in the UK?
We've had a wonderful week in Australia where we've tasted the lifestyle, seen plenty of people and tasted the work as well. The Mills family vote for Australian life, and living is
UK.
Australia.
Oh dear, it's a very mixed vote, and as the Mills pack to leave for home, it's time to reflect on the painful reality of a family split on this massive decision.
I'm going to be devastated to go back to the UK, to be honest. It's a beautiful place and we've got good friends there, got good work colleagues, but I honestly believe that I should be in Australia, and this is a place that I've always meant to be as well. I like the people, I like the place, I like the country. And it was a dream come true coming here.
With the girls, I think that this has been a really good experience for them. But saying that, Barrows, that's their life, that's what they know, that's where they live. They don't really know much outside of that sort of life, that community.
It's a bit heart-wrenching to think that my dream's here and yet I'm in the UK. But until Mandy makes that decision, I'm going to have to live with it.
I think he'll be disappointed, but I don't think it'll actually change anything. It's not as if we've got a horrendous life at home and everything's going wrong at home and this is our only escape route. It's not a case of that. It was his dream. Well, it is his dream, his big dream. But I'm going to sound really awful when I say this. I'm not going to feel guilty though, because we're a family and you can't. Your dreams have got to start together really, haven't they, and not just one person.
Australia's where I want to be, and that's where I want to, end up.
I could see she had serious doubts to start off with, and throughout the week it was practically impossible to convince Mandy that moving to Australia was for her. But John, well, he still harbours a dream that one day he'll come where he's wanted down under.
Roddick and Federer, the big clash at the Australian Open. Live coverage right now on the red button. Here on BBC One next, a garage sale with Homes Under the Hammer.
Welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that catapults a British family right across the other side of the world to help them make the biggest decision of their life. John Mills loves the idea of starting a new life down under and would be fulfilling a lifelong dream to go there.
I honestly believe that I should be in Australia, and this is a place that I've always meant to be as well.
His wife Mandy is reluctant to swap the certainties of her life in the UK for an unknown future in Australia, but she's willing to put it to the test.
To come out here is a really big deal because it could change the rest of our lives.
Could this be John's only chance to convince Mandy that life in Oz would be better?
If Mandy did say no, that's it, definitely not. I will be devastated, but it's got to be a joint decision.
Or will her close ties with home mean he has to bury his dreams for the sake of their family?
I would need a lot of convincing to want to make a whole new life here for me to give it a go, I think.
So will the Mills end up where they're wanted down under? For many, Australia seems to promise a fantastic lifestyle. And anyone who's under 45 with a skill that's in demand could head for a future life down under. Last year, over 60 Brits a day jumped at the chance. But how do you go about making such a tough decision?
We've given 20 more families the chance of a lifetime to swap the UK for a future in the sun. But after just 1 week, which way will they vote? Stay in the UK or move to Australia?
John and Mandy Mills live in the industrial town of Barrow-in-Furness with their 3 children. 8-year-old Lily, Grace who's 6 and 15-month-old Seth. For years, John's big dream has been to live in Australia, and he was set to move there until he met Mandy and they started a family.
Certainly since I was 19, it's always been a passion of mine to go there and settle down. It sounds like a fantastic place to live.
Mandy's never even left the UK, so the idea of emigrating to the other side of the world is a massive undertaking for her.
I've lived in Barrow for 27 years, my whole life. Never really ventured anywhere else. You get small town mentality, I think.
But she's determined to make a better life for their children.
I think with Barrow, when they've left school, they can go and work in the shipyard, or there's the hospital, and then it's more or less supermarkets. And I'd quite like to widen that field and give them more opportunity.
Although Lily and Grace seem more concerned about encountering the Aussie wildlife.
We know that there's koala bears. We know that there's maybe snakes, spiders, box jellyfish.
John works in the shipbuilding industry as a quality control engineer. But Mandy's worried that a move to Oz would mean a step backwards for him.
I think with what John does, he'd have to start at the bottom, so I do actually think that he wouldn't have as much money.
I've already come up through the ranks from an electrician up to an inspector, and I can't imagine there being anything stopping him making the step again over there.
Mandy is a stay-at-home mum and has a lot of support from her family, who she's extremely close to.
It's nice having my parents living over the road and my friend living just round the corner. It will be hard for them to adjust, but it's a case of it's sort of my time now with my family, and I can't stick around in the same place forever just in case I upset people, I suppose.
John and Mandy haven't experienced anything like this before, and they're keen to see what Australia has to offer.
35 years that I've lived here, so time for a change. It's time to see the rest of the world.
It's just something different than living in Barrow for the rest of our lives.